Jadaveon Clowney news. Jadaveon Clowney is a man who has been a free agent for a long time. It is alleged from our friend at Yahoo Sports, yes, that is still a company, Charles Robinson, that he turned down 1, 2, and 3 year offers from the Cleveland Browns at about $17 to $18 million per year. If it's $17 million, you do the math, that's a $51 million deal that was potentially offered to Jadaveon Clowney from the Cleveland Browns to be opposite side of Myles Garrett, and he said, nah, I'm good. Then allegedly the Tennessee Titans made an offer. Then some other teams were allegedly interested. The Seattle Seahawks were interested. The Jets were potentially interested. There was a lot of conversation about Jadaveon Clowney, and Jadaveon Clowney decided to sit back and wait it out. I'm going to sit back, see what goes on. I think I made $100 million from Puma before I even stepped foot on an NFL field after I got drafted, after being an absolute slaughterhouse in college. He's had a pretty good career. The potential is always massive for Jadaveon Clowney because at any given moment he can take over a game. He knows it. Everybody knows it. He's a free agent. Everybody thinks he's just potentially waiting it out to miss training camp. And now we're at the time, with the way quarantine is and the way he would have to sit out for a couple of days before having a physical to go in there, it would be the time where he has to sign is probably today or tomorrow because the season is just 6 days away. Oh, yeah! So now the Jadaveon Clowney, where he will go, conversation and chatter is heating up. It is alleged last night that the Saints and Sean Payton have been talking to Jadaveon Clowney quite a bit and that they are very interested. It is also alleged that the Tennessee Titans are interested, and Mike Vrabel just came out with a statement and said, yes, we have an offer on the table for Jadaveon Clowney. And the Titans were allegedly one of the first teams that were interested in Jadaveon Clowney alongside the Cleveland Browns. So the Titans have been at Jadaveon Clowney for a long time. And remember, people forget this about Tennessee Titans. I think they made the AFC Championship last year.
Really? Yeah, checks out.
The AFC Championship last year.
What?
And they signed their quarterback back. They had their running back back. They got a good offensive line. Jadaveon Clowney would be able to go to a team that was in the AFC Championship. Is the deal worth what Jadaveon Clowney thinks? Nobody knows because nobody's talking about it. But Diana Rossini from ESPN is saying that the Saints and the Titans were telling their players, if anybody knows Jadaveon Clowney, go ahead and send them a Snapchat, a text message, a DM, whatever you need to do to make him feel as if this is the proper home for him. Saints Titans want Jadaveon Clowney on the roster, and that has to feel good for a guy who's just sat back and waited this entire time. Now, granted, I don't know what this deal is going to be worth. I assume it's going to be nowhere near $51 million like he allegedly turned down from the Cleveland Browns, but he's got to feel good that he played this thing exactly how he wanted to. He's going to be missing training camp. He's just going to jump in right into a season, and he's going to have two teams currently sending text messages, well wishes, and recruiting strategies to get them on the team. I think he goes to the Saints. It's a good fit for Jadaveon Clowney, and it's good for the Saints. I think he goes to the Titans. It's a good fit because, by the way, Deshaun Watson, who's about to get re-up with the Texans, he's there. Phil Rivers, if you can get to the passer there. And everybody knows Gardner Minshew is going to be tough to tackle down there. So you're going to need a good pass rusher for both of those squads, especially down in the NFC South. If you can get to the quarterback, you can win games. I mean, he is a hot commodity right now between those two teams. I don't know where he's going to end up, but I like that Jadaveon Clowney looked at a piece of paper, said $51 million, said, fuck you. And then now he's just sitting back and everybody's just sending him text messages like, hey, we want you on our team, man. That never happened to me. I'm assuming that doesn't happen to a lot of players.
I assume that he was on the Saints' radar for a long time, but maybe it just wasn't public and maybe they weren't pursuing it as hot as they are now. But do you think like they see the Bucs get Fournette and they're like, we need to get someone opposite Cam Jordan and get to Tommy?
Yeah, I think the Saints, it was alleged yesterday that Sean Payton and him have been talking for a little bit now. And I don't remember the exact wording because you got to watch the way people word things because it's like Sean Payton or somebody within the Saints leaked the information to whichever reporter did. And he's been talking to him for a slew of days. It's like, whoa, what is that? Is that 8 days? Is that 9 days? Is that, they didn't say weeks, so it's less than 14. Like, you got to kind of decipher all that shit. But if Sean Payton's getting on the horn calling him, that probably means that they've been interested in Jadaveon Clowney for a good bit here. I don't know if something happened at Saints training camp where they lost a defensive end. I'm assuming they didn't. If Sean Payton's getting on the phone, though, in the middle of training camp, in the middle of all this, trying to recruit, I would assume they're very interested. And I assume that's why Vrabel had to come out today and say, yes, we have an offer. Like, Vrabel had to be like, all right, I'll play this stupid game. Yeah, we are offering him. We do have